Mental Health Corner with Great Insights, where we delve into the depths of the human psyche to shed light on mental health matters. Today, in celebration of International Women's Day, we have a special episode titled Empower Minds, Empower Women, Cultivating Inclusive Spaces for Mental Wellness, while embracing the universal theme of Inspire Inclusion. I'm Oluwatosin Adeyemi, your host. I'm a clinical psychologist, and with me I have esteemed clinical psychologists joining us. I have Mrs. Bimi Giwa Osagi, a counseling psychologist, and also Mr. Yusuf Alaudi, a clinical psychologist. Welcome to the show, everyone. You know, the International Women's Day looks at understanding and celebrating the achievements of women in terms of social, economic, political contributions that they've made. And this year we're looking at inspiring inclusion, talking about how to celebrate diversity and empowerment of women in all aspects. So, Mrs. Bimgima, what are your thoughts on how we can create these inclusive spaces for women, for your field, which is the mental health space?
Good morning, Mr. Yusuf. Nice to be here. What we're doing right now, I think, is one of the most important things that society needs to do to include women. We need to start a dialogue across all spheres of life, be it government, businesses, marketplaces. We need to make women more inclusive. If we look at the statistics in the nation right now, we find that we have a lot more women than men in the population. But still, women are less important, quote unquote, in society.
Considered to be.
Yes, they're considered to be less important. So to make women more inclusive in the workspaces, we need dialogue with more women, more men. We need to discuss issues pertaining to women, i.e. the pay, which I find is very important. Women generally, example, say I have twins, a boy and a girl, and they're brought up the same way, same nursery, same primary school, same university. They both study the same subject, say they're doctors. They come out of, to the workforce. Luckily, an employer, the same employer, employs both of them. The boy would get more pay than the girl, in most cases. If they don't discuss it, it's an underlying thing, but if you now start to discuss it, you find that men generally get better pay than women. And the thinking of society is that the man is the breadwinner. He's going to be the one.
Some sort of
unspoken rule in society. And sorry, you were going to say something.
Yes, actually, I look at what you are saying. Actually, we should actually look at it from the cultural perspective. If we are going to talk about women inclusion and all that, how has the culture or even religion portray women to be?
Yes.
If we look at that role, it's going to give us more ideas into the issue at hand correctly. And when you say pay or no pay, or men
that's
get
just
more
one
pay,
of many issues. That's just one of many.
I might not totally agree because I know that in some company they have that quota and that standard. They are not going to go below that or above that because either you are this gender or not that gender. But when we talk about women having more spaces in workplace or being in workforce, I truly agree that yes, it's not that much like it should be. And I think the population consists of more women than men.
Oh yes.
And that is the area we actually need to look into. And when I'm going to talk on women and their wonderful role in the society, you can't undermine it.
No, you cannot.
You cannot.
And something else that we do need in the workspaces, the mentorship.
Yes, very correct.
I think when a young lady enters an organization, it is beneficial for that organization if they have women in leadership roles that would mentor the younger ones just starting out.
Sure.
They have someone to look up to.
Yes, someone to look up to. It would send a message to the younger generation that this organization looks up for women. If I work hard,
Yeah.
I
I'm
can
able to
move
get
up.
here.
Yes.
I can move up the ladder.
Thank you. I can move up the ladder.
Knowing that you
And I
have
think
equal
so you have
opportunity.
equal
That's one of the
So
things
one of the
based
things
on
we should
the
look at.
AAP that
Yeah.
Brain Insight
Yes.
provides. It's
Yes.
one of the
Yes.
major area I've noticed,
Yeah.
and especially in some major companies we manage.
Yeah, okay.
They are actually working towards inclusion very well. For instance, let me give you an example of a particular company. I'm not going to mention name,
Okay.
but this particular company is a multinational company, and when you look at the rates now by which men and women are in that organization, you see it's looking like at the same path.
That's good.
Because yes, they know women can do this, we are doing it as well. But sincerely, inclusion is very, very
Very important.
necessary.
It's important.
It is very key.
It's
And
important.
you cannot undermine it.
Yeah.
And I'll keep saying that word. If we truly look into it, we will understand. But I think as we go further, I'm going to shed more light on the aspect I understand more. And when I talk about it, even at public speaking and even looking at it when issues are happening in the workplace, I'm able to get, yes, when this kind of person hold this position, they will be able to do this. Naturally, they can multitask.
Yes.
Which
yes.
men might not
Okay,
be
that's
able
my
to
next
do.
step actually. That was what I was going to say.
Mm.
Because to make women more inclusive in the workspaces, we need to understand the dynamic, the biology of a woman.
The biological component.
Of a woman.
because-
Women are they're the caregivers.
Exactly.
They're the homemakers.
Mhm.
And companies they
Highly
need to
empathetic.
yes, they need to understand this. We need to consider that a woman once a young girl, once they hit a certain age,
Mhm.
something starts to change
Exactly,
in the
that
biology
change
of their
for sure.
system. And then if you now look at the older women,
Mhm.
once they also hit a certain stage,
Something
some
starts
starts to
to
shift
change.
also.
Mhm.
So in most cases, you find in the workforce that they lack empathy, they lack understanding
No doubt.
of what a woman is going through, her biology. Also, you find, I've heard of cases whereby companies do not like employing young girls that are just about to be married.
Mhm.
Why?
Because they're concerned.
They're concerned that they
Maternity
can
and the
Mhm.
lives,
get
you get
pregnant.
pregnant.
All
Those
these
are
stuff, but they should be
natural
normal.
things.
Thank you.
Exactly.
They're
Exactly.
normal. Everyday things, they're natural.
Well,
So, we know, to make it more inclusive, we need to talk about such.
We need to talk about
And
it.
I love that Grey Hub is a company that is introducing this to so many companies, telling them how to care for women, women's mental health, mental
And how
wellness.
important
It's
it
very
is.
important because if they can talk, if you give women a free space, a safe space to talk about their issues,
Yeah.
you even find that they're more productive at work.
Exactly.
I am so glad that over the weekend I was actually talking to a few people and they were telling me how some companies in Lagos now have creche
Yeah.
For
their children.
For their children.
The children of staff.
of staff, which is excellent.
Which is
As
one
a
of the
mother.
things. Imagine
Thank
in
you.
an organization, I have my baby and I know my baby is just in
Yeah.
work.
Thank you.
During my break,
Someone
I
is
can
taking
easily
care of my
go
baby.
there.
My mind will be at work
Exactly.
and I will be more productive.
Thank you.
Compared to if I have to leave my baby at home,
Or
with
it's
either my grandmother or
Or
my
nanny.
mother-in-law or a
Exactly.
nanny.
Yes.
I'm constantly, even if I say I position camera, I'm constantly checking camera while working.
And distracted
But
from
if
the
I
work.
say, oh, my company has crèche,
Yeah.
and I see how productive
And during my break, I
how
can
quick-
easily go
I
there.
can
and
easily
They
go
will
there.
at the office with
I
you
know
sometimes
there's
to
this
take 10 minutes break.
exactly
Just
there's
spend
this
time.
other part that I noticed one of the time I was in an office and that company have crèche for their staff.
Okay.
So I was talking to this lady, we were having session, I was in the office.
Okay.
So they said, oh, I have to see her before I go because she's just resuming and all that. And while having the conversation, she just said, I think my baby is crying. I need to go and attend to her. And she literally went there.
Yes.
And yes, she came back. When she got back, I said, how did you know? I said, there's some things
An
I felt.
instinct.
I felt that instinct and I just have to get up. And lo and behold, when I get there, she's crying.
Actually crying.
And until I attended to her. So that instinct and that connection, if the
bond
baby
is
is to
there.
be in another place or in one school that is far from the organization, my mind will be there when I felt that instinct. And then there's not going to be any concentration at all. And that makes my productivity level to low.
Yes.
And then the turnover for the company will also reduce.
Thank you, Mrs. Giwa. Thank you so much, Ms. AC, for the contributions. I like the fact that there was something you said when you started out, and I like the fact that you started with that. You talked about the dialogue, like we need to raise the dialogue. And that takes me to the next point where we're going to be talking about making mental health services accessible to women, regardless of their background, regardless of their level, their culture, making it accessible. And that dialogue it's very important, because one thing with mental health that we've been struggling with for a while is stigma.
Yes.
You find out that people feel so stigmatized, and they don't even want to come out to talk about their mental health challenges. So speaking about women, you have a woman who just had a baby, and she's struggling. She's struggling with adjusting to motherhood, being a wife, being a mother, resuming back to work, and it looks like I can't even talk to anybody about it, because it's sad that we're still at that point. Let me share an example of some of the clients I've seen in recent time. And one thing I realized recently is a good number of them are actually women. So I noticed that once I have a client and I get to the point where I say, I think you need to see the doctor, I go ahead to be specific about which kind of doctor. And I say, oh, I think you need to see a psychiatrist. And the response is never, it's never really
The facial
good.
expression will speak for itself immediately.
Religion.
They just become, they close up immediately, and they're like, oh, do I have to? And I've had clients, so I'm at the point where I don't say which kind I just say you need to see the doctor, because once people hear psychiatrist, no.
It also
Just so
goes
you are
back
good,
to-
I'm fine. I
The
think
cultural and the
It goes back to what you said.
You
the
see,
cultural.
you see,
yes.
one thing about this is
Yes.
most times, because I have noticed some of this trend over time with the way people respond when you say, oh, I'm referring you to a psychiatrist. One thing I start with in my own, when I'm seeing them is, I will have broken down what your mental health entails
Exactly.
and what are lagging within you. Oh, this part, I think there's issue with this neurotransmitter. When this is not balanced and you're unable to produce it, you feel this way, you
With the
feel that
scientific
way.
way.
So
Exactly.
the moment I have mentioned to you
Given that
what your
understanding.
challenges are, I've identified your problem, and all you are looking for is solution. So I now start with, oh yes, me as a clinical psychologist in Nigeria, I can't prescribe,
medication.
but I know those things that can help you. So I need to refer you to
The
someone
sad part,
who
sorry
will
to cut it,
do
is
that.
even when you go to that extent, you have people still saying, what are
Do
people
I have
going
to
to
use
say?
the drug?
What are people
Do I
going
have
to
to
say?
use drugs?
Exactly.
All
What are
that.
people going to
Well,
say?
yeah.
I'm not sure.
But at the end of the day,
Sad
that
to do that.
approach has been able to help me a lot to manage them, and yes, we see results.
Yeah.
Because you have identified the problem. If you don't have insight to the problem, it's going to be difficult for you to accept the
Exactly,
solution.
exactly.
So if I had seen that this had been identified, because one of the major issues we usually have is, I'm just going through this, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't even know. The first thing is, as people actually gone through this kind of thing before, oh, did they actually come out
out
of
of
it?
this,
Did
yes.
they actually get better? Because the stigma of saying I'm even going to a mental health facility is another thing.
Exactly.
But you see, because of this sensitization now, it has changed a lot of things. We are having a life, we are
We need
having
to do
more
more of
We need to
private
normalize it in
organization,
society.
Exactly.
private mental health organization now. Great Insight is one. Now it has Grey Hub,
Exactly.
where you do more of that. So one thing they do now is, rather than just say, oh, when you see people breaking down, all we know that mental health entails or mental illness entails has always been those people working on the streets.
Yes.
Exactly.
Now, organization calls us for EAP service.
Yes.
We provide that. We talked about mental health. When I go for mental health, I ask them, When you hear the word mental health, what comes to your mind?
As some people
You will
define
say,
mental health as
I
mental
would-
illness.
Yaba.
Yes, no, but because
And
that's
that's
what
what they
society,
know,
that's how they've been brought up.
Exactly.
That's the mindset.
But the reality
So we
is,
need to change
That
mental
dialogue is
health
very key.
is different from mental health.
Mental illness.
Everybody has mental health,
Exactly.
but it's not everybody that
That's
has
in the
mental
mental
health.
illness. And you know,
I think
the
before
fact that-
before we round up
Okay.
today, I'm still going to give a classic definition of mental health,
Mm.
so that people will truly know that there's nobody that doesn't have this, but it's not everybody that is.
It's just same as physical health and physical
It's not
illness.
everybody that has
You know,
malaria.
everybody has their physical health and
Mhm.
we want it to be optimal, but there's also the place of physical illness.
Illness,
Where you can be
exactly.
ill. So people are more comfortable going to the regular, physical hospital, the medical
I
hospital,
have this, I
rather
can't
than the
still
mental
walk
health
in.
facility.
Oh, you've been having sleeping difficulty, you never felt, oh, it might
Exactly.
be insomnia.
Mm.
Oh, you've been having other symptoms, you never felt like, oh, I have this issue, I have that issue. There's a definition, maybe I should just give the definition here if I'm permitted. The definition says mental health is a state of emotional well-being, physical well-being, psychological well-being, social well-being, and spiritual well-being. That's 5 areas in which an individual is being productive at work, able to manage stress, contribute meaningfully to his community, able to initiate and maintain relationship, and able to use spirituality to solve problems. So who can say I'm 100% fit in all these areas?
Exactly.
So sincerely, when we look at that classic definition, you will know that, oh, is it me that
Something
I've
somewhere.
gone to work, I left my home before the day breaks, and I get back home when the
When
day,
it's dark.
when everywhere is dark. I don't even get to know what is happening in my community.
Exactly.
All I want to do is, oh, sleep. When last did I even check up on my friend, or I even make new ones?
Yeah.
All these are mental health. Then being able to use spirituality to solve problems. Oh, seems I've not been spiritually well in recent time. Okay, spirituality doesn't mean religiosity.
Exactly. That's
Medication
something we need to separate.
It's part of it. But a lot of people, when they hear spirituality, oh, either they see it as spiritual problem, or village people following you, or they start seeing it as, oh, they are talking about religion. No. That part of being connected to your higher power goes a long way as well. And being able to understand all this area goes a long way to help us better.
Very true. Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. And talking about making mental health services more accessible to women, like generally, like I said, first is the stigma, like take that away, because if I feel stigmatized, if I feel like accessing this service is going to be detrimental to me, I won't use it. So even the platforms are already there, I'm not going to use them.
Exactly.
And then let's also talk about, okay, the cost, actually, because you notice that a lot of people use this service using their health insurance.
Yes.
So what happens to the woman, in the marketplace that has no health insurance?
See, that's a part I've always been really looking into, like, okay, what can we do better? How can we help ourselves? There are government facilities,
Yes.
and there are a
Government
lot of
needs to
these
step in.
NGO
Yes.
coming up now.
There's
Exactly.
actually some in
Ah,
Hausa, women's
exactly.
that they champion women's
Exactly.
So maybe
And
incorporating
in
mental
domestic
health.
violence and
Yeah,
social abuse
yes.
also do that as
and the
well.
health psychologists
And
also that.
okay.
Very well. I have a couple of them that I've seen doing so well there, like that.
Yes.
And now, when we talk about accessibility,
Yeah.
most times we feel it is costly because we've not asked about it.
So,
Very true.
Their rate at Grey Insight, for instance, is not as pocket breaking like you would expect. When you walk in, if I need to buy a Shebi of 45,000 naira,
you could do
Yeah.
you will look for the money.
that.
That's
But
true.
that Shebi, when you are unable to wear it because you have mental breakdown, how will it be?
So prioritizing your mental health.
You
now.
have to
You have
prioritize
to.
it.
Yes.
You have
When
to.
you look at the
Women,
money you
especially
spend
women.
in doing
Women need
the
to.
most basic thing, working on your skin, or doing your
skincare.
skin routine, or even doing makeup and the likes, they are not cheap.
They're not true.
They are cost effective.
They're not true.
But the day we start taking our health serious, and there's no health without mental health.
Very
yes.
true. Very true.
There's no how. I usually use this example of you have a system, a laptop with you, the motherboard is faulty. What happened to the system? The physical part you can still see it, but the moment the motherboard is faulty, there's something wrong. So our mental health is very, very important. We should not talk about the monetary part. If something is important to me, and I know this is affecting my functionality, then all I want to do, I've happened to have some CEO at the end of the day, they are having struggling, really coming up with the new ideas or even having meeting with their staffs. And the next thing is they keep postponing and the company keep declining. So when we had random conversation one of the days, he just walked in and we started the conversation. And the conversation went so well, and she said, Mr. Yusuf, I'll go for that meeting today. And after the meeting, the next thing I received was the message. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Yusuf.
Because she did feel better.
Conversation
Because
was
women
so
need,
much
we need an
needed.
outlet. We need a
Exactly.
safe space
Safe
where
space.
where we will not be judged.
Even
Because
though,
society judges.
even though women are given that privilege to be listened to
Yes.
than the way men are, you hardly see more men in therapy than women.
That's correct.
Women are more in therapy than men.
Yes.
And this is the issue here. The society, imagine you are driving on the road, you see two people being stranded, a man and a woman.
They will likely
You will most likely go to assist
Yes.
the people.
Okay, Mr.
Or you see a
I
man
understand
in
your
the
point.
office space, in the office space there. You
Okay,
see
but
a lady being
let's talk
down.
about-
Most likely you are going to attend to her before
Okay.
you go. You look at the man, what's your problem?
Okay, let's talk about
Number you win now,
let's talk about making mental health services available in our primary health centers.
Okay.
You know, you
see,
have
this has been a conversation. for
me-
a
me-
while.
medical
But
services
you actually
being more
find
actively-
in hospitals that they do have like psychiatrists.
Actually,
I know for
But you won't find that in your primary health center. You know, the
So,
government.
so I
No,
think
no,
when I
it's
was
government
doing my,
owned.
when I was doing my internship,
Primary health
this
centers.
was a part that we deliberated on. And yes, these people have access. For instance, in Lagos State, they have access to some health commissioners and the likes. So they usually preach this. And one of the things we always work on, and we are also still working on, is make mental health as easily accessible as I move within my community.
Exactly.
I can say,
That's the
oh,
point.
this church, I
Exactly.
can have mental health service being provided.
So we can actually have, you know,
And
religious
that
bodies
is coming up in
being
some
impacted
religious
with
body
this.
now.
Religious collaboration and allyship are key in driving positive change. So before we wrap up, I'd like to ask, you know, each of my guests to share a final empowering message for our listeners, particularly in honor of International Women's Day. So just, you know, something short to wrap up everything.
Thank
we
you,
talked about.
Mr. Yusuf. I so enjoyed your.
So did I.
Thank you. More men need to listen to you. For me, we're in the year 2024. We should not even. This should not be taking place anymore. It should be the norm. So we need the government. We need private organizations. We need more people to key into the needs of women and to see women that it's a normal thing. We should not look at women and feel that they, you know, a young girl who is maybe 24, 25, she's in the office, she's missing 2 days because it is a time of the month, and they make her feel like she's not productive, that she's doing something wrong. It should not be happening anymore.
Very true.
So we should normalize a woman. We should see them for what they are: wonderful, great, energetic, fantastic, home givers, caregivers, and dynamic in the workspace. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Giwa.
Well, she nailed it, actually. And you see, when you talk about the hormonal part, I kind of understand it more because, like I said, I always have women around me. And I get to study how they are reacting to certain things. And yes, I think a particular country has made it important that for ladies every month they have menstrual cycle break on holiday, day off or so.
Day or two off, yes.
And that's one
We're
part
getting
of
there
inclusion
Yes, it
for
is.
them. And they have done that. And I think, yes, gradually we are coming to Nigeria. And there are organizations in Nigeria, private organizations in Nigeria, that are also doing things like that.
Oh yes.
But you see, where I will talk is still based on what I said last. If the statement I said was correct, that if you see a man that is successful, look at who is behind the man. There's a woman that is making that easy for him, that is not frustrating him, that gives him peace of mind. But where we have challenges is a lot of people carry a particular perspective that is not well understood by them. I'm a feminist and this.
Okay,
not
yes,
it.
women. Yeah.
Feminism is not about, it's ultimate. It's more about equal role, equal activities. And yes, you are saying that you are our mother. We love you for that. And we appreciate you. And if you can see a woman building a house successfully and making that home to be peaceful and the children are doing well. If you see the children doing well, it's not because the father is there. Most times it's because the mother is there to listen. Our own is more in aggression sometimes and the violent take it.
By force.
And one thing is, if they can build home like that, how much more of the society?
Yeah, I mean, people
If
like
you
put
give
up
them
with all they're
that
from, so
opportunity,
society
the
stems from
environment
family.
will be better. That doesn't rule it out that there are still women that are in their own way doing something that are wrong.
Yeah, that's
But when you see the one that actually understand it, and all still started from their mother, who raised them, what was the contribution from
and
the
even
environment.
individual choices that we
And
make
yes.
as people. Individual
Before
choices
you
that
get
we
to
make.
individual choices, how are you raised?
Very correct.
Who is your mother?
Yeah,
How did your mother contribute to
to
you?
your
And how does she raise you? What are the value you could learn from her? Unlearning is not easy. And children learn from observation. If you are the type of mother that you carry cigarettes in front of your children, they are watching too much. The day you are not there, they will actually go and take it and
Try it
try.
out. Yes, that's very true.
You can, I'm not saying you should not do your things, but watch what you do in front of your children. They learn from observation and they through modeling than anything. What you do is what they observe.
Yeah.
Have you seen a child saying, oh, see mommy's makeup, when mommy is not there, they just do like this
Try
and
it
put it
out.
on their face, carry their wig. What are they doing? Did you teach them how to do it?
No, they just observe.
Observation. So what I will say is still, as women, try to, when you build a home, you can build a community.
Very good.
A happy woman is unanimous to happy home. And happy home
Happy
is
wife,
unanimous
happy
to
life.
a happy community. And happy community is what? A happy
nation.
A
nation.
happy
So
world.
gradually connect in
Yes, they're all
every part.
interconnected.
When they are included
the
in things.
bedrock of society.
And I think, like you said now, the bedrock, they are the bedrock of the society.
Exactly.
I love my mother.
I
And
love my
so
mother
will I
too.
love my wife. I love every woman in my life.
Yeah.
Because it is necessary. And when they are happy, you are happy.
Yes.
When they are at peace, you are at peace.
Yes.
So when they are at peace, the world at large will be at peace.
Very
So
true.
that's what I
Very
think
true.
we need to do.
Very
And
true.
work on our cultural perspective. Women are not meant for kitchen alone.
Exactly.
They are not meant to build the home alone.
Exactly.
If they can build the home successfully, it means if you include them in the society, they can build the society
Very
to
true.
be a better
Thank you
place.
so much, Mr. Yusuf. Thank you so much, Mrs. Giwa. I've had an amazing time. Thank you for sharing, from your depth of wisdom, sharing your insights with us, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Don't forget that mental health has no boundaries. So try your best to continue to inspire inclusion and empower minds, not just today, but every day. It's a lifetime thing. It doesn't end with just International Women's Day. So don't forget to like, to comment, and share, and take good care of yourselves. Till we come your way again, keep being amazing. Bye.